Arthur Croft, a man of quiet disposition and a neighbor to the Thornes for decades, felt the oppressive weight of Oakhaven long before he saw the familiar gables of their ancestral home. The village itself, nestled deep within the forgotten valleys of New England, seemed to exist outside time, perpetually shrouded in a damp, clammy mist. A profound stillness hung in the air, a silence so complete it felt like a scream held captive. Today that silence was ruptured by grief. Elias Thorne was dead. Others stepped into the Thorne residence, and an unnatural chill immediately embraced him, seeping into his bones, despite the summer warmth outside. Sir and Mrs. Thorne, usually figures of gentle resilience, were shattered husks, their eyes red-rimmed and vacant. Lyra, Elias' young wife, sat apart, her gaze fixed on something unseen, her expression a mask of vacant detachment. The air in the house was thick, not with sorrow, but with something colder, more ancient. Elias' room, at the end of the long, dark corridor, was closed, a palpable dread radiating from its sealed door. It was as if the very air around it recoiled. The official cause of death was a heart attack, the village doctor had declared, trotting off the gruesome details with an uncomfortable cough. But Arthur knew the whispers that had snaked through Oakhaven like tendrils of frost. Elias' body had been found horribly disfigured, skin blackened and shriveled as if ravaged by an unseen fire, eyes rolled back, a silent, eternal scream frozen on his lips. No heart attack could do that. He felt the profound sense of wrongness, a cold, clawing presence that clung to the shadows. Over hushed cups of weak tea, Arthur learned from the grief-stricken parents of Elias' harrowing decline. For weeks, their son had been a ghost in his own home. He'd grown gaunt, his eyes hollowed by relentless insomnia, perpetually darting as if pursued by an unseen hunter. He'd clung to his old family Bible and a worn wooden rosary, clutching them even in his sleep, muttering desperate prayers that dissolved into incoherent pleas. He spoke of the Watcher, of a suffocating chill that never left his side, of whispers that stole his sanity. He was terrified, a terror that seemed to possess him, twisting his features into a mask of perpetual dread. Driven by an unshakable premonition, a cold hand tightening around his heart, Arthur found himself drawn to Elias' room. The door creaked open, revealing a chamber plunged into an unnatural gloom. The air here was even colder, a freezing breath that seemed to steal the very warmth from his lungs. The faint scent of decay and something metallic hung heavy. He scanned the room, his gaze settling on the rumpled bed. A subtle bulge beneath the mattress caught his eye. With trembling fingers, he pulled out a small, leather-bound journal, Elias' familiar script filling its pages. The binding felt abnormally cold. Intrigued, Julie. Something is wrong. A shift in the air, a whisper of unseen movement. I felt it last night. A breath, cold and thin, ghosting across my neck. A waking dream, perhaps. But the feeling persists. My skin crawls. Intrigued, Julie. It's not a dream. The shadow comes every night. Not visible, not truly, but there, at the edge of my sight, a shifting void in the corner of the room. I hear faint sounds now, like brittle leaves skittering across a tombstone. It watches me. I try to pray, but the words catch in my throat, choked by an invisible hand. Intrigued, Julie. It touched me. Last night, a caress of ice, a cold that pierced my very bones. I felt it drain me, saw a shimmering darkness coalesce around me, a void that drank my warmth, my vitality. I clung to my rosary, but it offered no comfort, no barrier. My strength wanes. I feel thinner. My thoughts are no longer my own. The whispers are louder, slithering into my mind, promising an end to the fear, if only I would yield. Mitri Augustrid. The torment is physical now. Scratches appear on my skin when I wake, thin lines of crimson that weep. It presses down on me, a suffocating weight that crushes the breath from my lungs. Its laughter is a dry rasp, a sound that shreds sanity. It mocks my desperate prayers, twisting the sacred words into blasphemies. It speaks, its voice a chorus of whispers, of ancient hunger, promising to unravel me, thread by agonizing thread. It wants to enter, to become me. Intri August, scribbled, barely legible. It's taking me, my life, my very essence, draining away. My body, it twists, it aches. The pain is unimaginable, but the terror is worse. I feel it inside me, consuming me, replacing my consciousness with something cold, alien, monstrous. My memories, they're fading. My will is gone. Oh God, if anyone reads this, do not look into the dark. It looks back. The final lines dissolved into a jagged scrawl, fading into nothingness. Arthur finished reading, his hands trembling so violently the journal nearly slipped from his grasp. The air in the room plummeted, the cold becoming an unbearable weight, a pressure against his chest. He felt it then, the oppressive weight, the same chilling presence Elias had described, no longer subtle, but a tangible, predatory hunger. Elias had nearly died. He had been devoured. His body, a hollowed-out shell, left behind. The entity wasn't gone. It was still here, bound to the very fabric of the house, waiting. Arthur scrambled from the room, abandoning the cursed journal, fleeing the house as if pursued by a legion of shadows. He stumbled out into the Oakhaven mist, gasping for air, but the chill, the creeping dread, clung to him like a shroud. He knew now. The entity was a thing of pure malevolence, rooted deep within the Thorne lineage, perhaps even the land itself. He carried its secret, a haunting knowledge that would forever taint his waking hours. A chilling whisper from the dark. The Thorne house stood silent, a mausoleum of dread, its windows like vacant eyes, patiently waiting for its next victim, or perhaps for its new host to finally emerge.